Hey guys, it's Kelsey and I'm back with layout 12 for How to Kill a Kit with Style. This is another secret, not secret, party weekend layout. So this is Crafty Maggie's sketch challenge and we're using Eileen Scrapmazing's awesome exclusive sketch she made for us this weekend. I'm not going to show you guys the sketch because it was exclusive to our group, but they have given me permission to share my process video. So thank you, ladies. I left a few things off the sketch, I added a few things, I flipped a few things. Of course, unless you're in the group and you played along with this, you won't know what I flipped and added and left off. But I really like how this one turns out. I know the last few, there was kind of a lot going on, which I like. I like that kind of busy, layery look. But I was really happy with this one because it was more streamlined, more clean. I wanted to do another white cardstock because I knew I was going to be using these darker colors and I really thought they'd look really crisp on some white. So I'm just getting my basic layers down, my basic design. I'm just kind of looking at the scraps I have left. I only have one 12 by 12 left and then a few scraps of the 12 by 12. So I tried to just use the pieces I had for some of these larger layers. That large moon print was the piece I gutted from behind, was it layout 10, I think? So I'm really happy I gutted that, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to do this design with the right proportions because that was the perfect size scrap for this. And then I just cut another chunk of that wolf scrap that I have left. I want a section down on the bottom that pull in these patterns as well. So I am pulling this little strip of the wolves in the smaller size to use down there. I'll also pull in the starry sky paper to mimic that moon paper from up top as well. I just want all that from the top balanced on the bottom. So that's kind of what I'm going for right now. I just know I need both of those patterns down there somehow. I play with the idea of actually using the smaller size moon pattern paper, but because it's a smaller size, you're really not gonna see the moon, at least the size of scrap that I wanted to use. So I decided to use just the night sky without constellations or moon or anything as that layer. And then I actually punched out the moon from a scrap. My 1 3/4 inch circle punch was the perfect size to cut out the circles from the 6x6 paper. So I ended up just punching out a few of the moons to use on this page as embellishments. So I really like that, how I used it there. And then I did decide to make that starry paper into a tag shape. So I'm just getting some embossing floss in white and I'm gonna just make this into a tag. Look guys, I finally got a hole puncher. I was in the grocery store the other day and the school supply section had a hole puncher. I don't have one, and it was really frustrating me because I use tags a lot but I couldn't make my own tags because I didn't have a hole puncher. So yeah, it was $1, so I got a hole puncher. So made a tag. I'm using white embossing floss because I know I'm going to stitch on this page and I know I want to use white stitching, so I want it to be the same type of thread. Otherwise I would have used my white twine, but I wanted it to match, so that's kind of where I went there. I did decide to pop the moon up a little bit on some dimensions so you could see that it was a separate piece and you could get a little bit of interest down there. So I'm just tucking it behind the wolves and that part will lay flat, but then it kind of pops up the page a little bit, the top part of that moon that's showing. And then I stole a white reinforcer from another tag that I had to put onto this tag so it looked legit. Now I just want to do a few layers behind my photo. All these other layers are pretty much clean and basic and they're not too layered, but I did want to take the opportunity to layer up a lot behind the photo so that there was some little layery area since everything else is so clean. So I do go through my 6x6 and just pull in a few scraps and a few full pieces that I end up using, and I just want to alternate the patterns so you can really see all the layers. So I end up going in first with this dark constellation blue, and then I back it on the white wood grain, and then I do the gray and then a scrap of the 12 by 12 I have that darker feather print. So I'm kind of alternating light dark so you can see all the different patterns so you can really get that layery vibe. I do glue this part down but then after I have my photos layered up and I know how much is going to be covered, I do go back and gut that wolf print as well. So and we're still gutting all these smaller pieces too because I'm in denial that I'm getting towards the end of this wolf packet. I'm in straight up denial. So I'm saving everything still because I'm still hoping I can get quite a few pages out of it even after I'm out of the 12x12. So I'm trying to get even the 6x6 stuff. I didn't have the full mat to go completely around this picture, so I did just take a scrap of part of the branding strip, I think it was, or another scrap of that would have been thrown away, and just patched up that corner. It's a dark pattern, so you really can't tell that it wasn't a full piece, but that way you're not missing a chunk of that mat. And then I'm just doing this wood grain. I love this wood grain that comes in this collection. I love both of them. There's this birchy white one and there's that brown one, and I love them both. I don't think there's a wood grain I don't like though, to be honest. But both of these go with the collection so well. And I just love that there's a cool wood grain with this white, but then there's that warmer brown wood grain. So you can kind of use it two ways on two different like pages, giving you a different feel. But I'm going with my stitching now. I just want 3 areas of stitching. So I'm going with my ruler and just piercing those holes, and then I end up just doing a back stitch. Again, I'm just using my white embroidery floss, but I'm just doing a simple back stitch in all 3 of these areas. So I sped this part up a lot, but I'm just gonna get all of that down. And then after this, I pretty much just have to finish off embellishing around my photo areas. So again, this one is more clean, but I'm really liking, I feel like this whole month I'm kind of a pendulum going back and forth between doing really layery, kind of busy, to streamlined and clean. So hopefully you guys find one of those styles that you like. I know some of the simple ones are kind of really simple, and then some of the layery ones are kind of too much. But hopefully you can kind of cut the difference if you're trying to scrap lift or anything like that to make it how you would like it. But I'm really liking everything I've made so far this month, and I'm glad I have all these different challenges to kind of pull me in different directions, especially this one. Like, I would have never made this page without this awesome sketch. So I'm very, very thankful for Eileen for making this sketch for us, because I end up loving this page. I love it. So I'm just getting the rest of my photo layers down. I just knew I wanted some plain square layers, but then I wanted some other kind of irregular shaped ones going behind it to add a little bit of interest. So that's why I'm kind of cutting that gray one a little weird. And then I have this scrap of this feather print. So I'm trying to figure out, I kind of want it to go around 3 sides of the paper, so you kind of see me jimmy rig that. I even think about switching it out to this moon pattern, but again, there's so little of it showing, you wouldn't really be able to see what it was. So I go back to the feather. I end up figuring out how to do it, but there's just not enough of it to cover as much as I want it to cover. So I have to get a little creative. Again, I'm punching another one of those moons. I want another one up there because I have one on the lower right hand corner. And so what I decided to do is I gutted that feather paper, and then I end up being able to use the scrap I gutted to fill in the other part of it, because I had this itty bitty piece left. And then the moon's going to cover that gap, so you can't see that that wasn't a whole piece to begin with. But I'm happy with the photo layers now, so I'm just embellishing. I have this adventure flat sticker, so I really wanted to get that incorporated because it had that starry sky background. I wasn't sure if I wanted it up by the photo. I ended up moving it down to the lower portion with the tag. I thought that kind of finished off that section really well. I wanted to pull in another puffy sticker, because like the big embossed ones, because I really like them, but I ended up keeping it pretty simple. I just pulled in a few things. I knew I already had these moon, and so I wanted to pull in a few like stars and stuff, but I didn't want to do anything else too big. I really like these paw prints, these bear paw prints that are blue in the acrylic, and I took the opportunity to go ahead and use those because I am using white cardstock, and they really show up so well on the white cardstock. So while I had white cardstock, I went ahead and used that and that embellishment down there. Now I'm pretty happy with how that corner looks. I'm just trying to figure out how to finish the photo area. So I'm committing though, I'm getting that part glued down. I gutted the wolf paper that was behind there. And I'm just pulled in the take a hike. This photo, I probably should tell you about this photo, is Cherokee Falls at Cloudland Canyon. So we hiked here and then we hiked to another waterfall. I put that arrow with the My Tribe banner on the left side because you can barely see him, but for size reference and scale of how big this pool and this waterfall is, Marcus is teeny tiny there on the right side of the photo, if you can see him. That's why I put that arrow there, to draw your attention to Marcus standing there, but he's teeny tiny on the edge of that photo looking up at the falls, so I really wanted you to be able to see the size. But here are the close-ups. I pretty much just added some stars and that was it. Thanks guys for watching. Bye.